What happens when you give a brilliant director $30 million to make a dark fairy tale after successfully creating two of the most memorable movies of all time? You get 1985's Legend from director Ridley Scott. I remember this movie having a big impact on me as a young viewer, and I think the biggest part of that lies in the practical effects. The story was simple enough to follow as a kid, but it was nothing really special, to be honest. I would normally rip apart a movie that has a weak premise or story, but the overall tone and brilliant visuals and effects brought to life by Rob Bottin and his crew really amaze me, even till this day. Rob Bottin had made a name for himself in the industry in movies like The Fog, The Howling, and the practical effects heavy gore fest, The Thing. Rob and his crew can do no wrong in my eyes, and Legend is just another film that shows exactly why. I normally wouldn't talk about sets as a part of the practical effects, but I think they deserve a mention. Ridley originally wanted to shoot this movie in actual locations, but found out pretty quickly that it would be too difficult, so the entire movie was shot on the 007 stage at Pinewood Studios. The effects team were able to make some pretty brilliant set pieces and made an entire world within the confines of Pinewoods. Today this would have been done all with green screens and would have lost a bit of that tangible quality. The cast in this movie is relatively small, and our heroes are a combination of humans and forest elves. I think the prosthetics and makeup for the elves are subtle and really well done. It's just enough to make them look like they belong in another world, but not enough to be corny and fake. It may be a simple creature to make, but others have tried and failed miserably. Now here's where the effects get really good. The creature design and the level of practical effects on the creatures of darkness are second to none. This is some of the best work done in the 80s, and hell, have you seen anything like this even today? These characters could have been reading the phone book and I'd still probably watch them. Pox and Blunder are the comic relief and are maybe, I dare to say, the cheesiest of the characters, but still really well done. Blix is the leader of the Minions and is played by Alice Playton, who does an excellent job bringing this character to life. I bet it was easier for her as an actor to engulf herself in the character since the effects were so perfectly done. There are a variety of other smaller characters that don't get much screen time, but still, the attention to detail in them is amazing. You can pause this movie 1,000 times and catch brilliant little details, making the world seem that much bigger and more real. Now my personal favorite character is one that most people probably don't know by name, but it's brought to life by the always great Robert Picardo. And here she is, Miss Meg Mucklebones. I remember watching this movie and being really freaked out by Meg, but I couldn't stop looking at her. She was the right combination of creepy and believable, and it's amazing how much actual facial expression and acting can still be done by Picardo through the many layers of prosthetics and makeup. This is a creature that stuck with me long after watching the movie, because it was so damn gross and wet and creepy and just freaking awesome.
Give us a kiss before dining.
Now, even people that don't know the movie have probably seen pictures or references to the antagonist of the film, and my personal all-time favorite representation of a devil character, played perfectly by Tim Curry, Darkness himself. I remember arguing with my friends and family about the character under all the makeup. I couldn't believe that it was the same guy from the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Clue. The transformation was too much for my young brain to grasp. Rob Bottin turned this man into the most iconic representation of the devil ever put on film. If you haven't seen the movie Legend, do yourself a favor and check it out immediately. For anyone interested in dark fairy tales or the awesome direction of Ridley Scott, or some of the best practical creature effects done to date, this should be a great movie to add to your collection.